But yeah, this is actually a good stage to follow up Counter Shades with, because I actually like this stage a decent bit. I think this is one of the better stages in the game. Like, yeah, Counter Shade is just like this dumb, long, boring hallway forever, with the occasional, you know, enemy swarm room to sort of vary things up a bit. But this level, there's actually got some verticality to it, and actually some sort of gimmicks as well. Or I guess Counter Shade's stage had a gimmick, but it was not implemented in a very interesting way. Oh yeah, I guess the one other gimmick in this stage is that, yeah, what's his name? Helicopter Man yaks at you throughout the whole thing, and it's really super annoying, especially if you have the English voice acting on. In fact, I think it was after this stage that I switched from English to Japanese my first time through the game. But yeah, I think this game is like really largely built around kind of with speedrunning in mind. Like you can really just tear through the stages once you know what you're doing. Oops. Yeah, the infinite dash is really cool as well. Just like the basic controls. The game actually, like, yeah, another thing I can kind of compliment the game on is that it just feels really good to play. Like the basic just controls and the way that like your character moves around and the way you just like the, you know, multi-dashing and dashing through enemies, and you can like do a down dash as well, which is helpful sometimes. Just the range of movement and just the way the character feels to control is really solid. Even more so than I'd say like even not the Mega Man X games. I'd say it's about on par with the Mega Man X games in general, and certainly better than like the later Mega Man, like the original Mega Man series, better than most of those. Or not most of those, but like, you know, like 7 and 8 are basically the only ones, or I guess Mega Man and Bass as well, which introduced like the big clunky sprites that introduced some problems in those games. And yeah, it feels a lot better than those, I feel. And that's kind of the thing. Like, as much as people, yeah, I know the internet shits on this game so much, like, I feel it's solidly on par with like a lot of the kind of, I wouldn't even say lesser, it's on par with like some of the more mediocre Mega Man titles, and even better than some of them, I'd say. Like, yeah, I like this way better than Mega Man 7 and Mega Man 8, for example. I'd say I even like it way better than the original Mega Man. As far as Mega Man X games, I'd say I like this probably about on par with Mega Man X8. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, I don't know. It's been a really, really long time since I played X8. I certainly like it better than X6. Although I do have a soft spot for X6. It's actually not... I don't hate X6 either. This kind of shows you where my standards are, I guess, for, you know, games in this style. But yeah, I think this game is certainly way better than Mega Man X6. Definitely better than X3 as well, but that's kind of just me. I really hate Mega Man X3. Like, if you just look at the individual stuff in this game, it's like, yeah, the stages are a little dull sometimes in this game, but, you know, some of them are good, and none of the stages are as bad as, like, a lot of the stuff you saw in Mega Man X6, or even Mega Man X5 actually had a lot of, like, really boring stages. Oh, wow, really? That didn't... Okay, I guess I was a little low there. Actually, one bit of irritation, too. You see, I lost my little icon below my health bar, so yeah, you do... E-tanks are kind of use them or lose them. Or I say E-tanks, I guess they're more like sub-tanks. That was it. Yeah, E-tanks were original series Mega Man, and sub-tanks were Mega Man X, and these are more like sub-tanks. Like, in fact, if I pause the game, you can see, yeah, my XL recover is basically my sub-tanks. Oh, man. Oh, come on. I think it's, actually, now that I think of it, I think it's only the blue ones. Yeah, only the enemies that glow blue will refill your sub-tanks. And yeah, if you haven't figured it out by now, which actually I found some people don't figure it out that quickly, the different colors, yeah, I started to explain this a bit earlier, but the different colors that the enemies glow when you weaken them indicates what they'll do for you when you absorb them. Like this gives me like a little piercing. Like yeah, the red enemies give you sort of a piercing power-up for your weapon temporarily. And then I think the green ones give you a speed upgrade, so you run and dash a bit faster. And the yellow ones give you a defense boost, where you take a bit less damage. Oh man. Yeah, this is probably the trickiest part of the level, although you're not really in any danger of falling to your death or anything. And yeah, looking at the bosses in this game too, like some of them are kind of uninspired, I guess, and some of them are kind of bullshit, but most of them are pretty decent, and none of them are as bad as like the worst, or even some mediocre ones that we've seen throughout the series. Like I'd say pretty much every boss in this game is better than just about every boss in like Mega Man X3, for example. And yeah, certainly none of them are as bad as like Volt Catfish or anything like that god-awful atrocity. So yeah, like this game is way better than Mega Man X3, Mega Man X6. Not nearly as good as like the good Mega Man X games, like, you know, X4, even X5. I kind of like X5 a fair bit. It's like kind of middle of the road, I'd say, in terms of the quality of the series. But yeah, I'd say this, like, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I'm not a huge Mega Man guy. Like, I've played all the games and I like them, but like it's not my favorite series of like platformers or anything. In fact, I'd almost say it's like kind of a B-list series for me. Like the ones that are good are really good, but in general, like Mega Man is not really my favorite series of games, not by a long shot. In fact, a while back, I was thinking for a YouTube video, it might be fun to make like a top 10 2D platformers. And so yeah, I made that list. I haven't made the video, and I probably never will at this rate, but like I've made the list of my top 10 favorite 2D platformers, and yeah, none of, I think the original Mega Man X might have made the list, but none of the others were even close. Like yeah, I like the original Mega Man X a lot better than like every other Mega Man game, but yeah, none of the others were even close. I do like them, like they're decent, but it's not, like, yeah, I don't know, for me personally, like, it's like, yeah, Mighty Number 9, it's like living up to the Mega Man legacy, and it's like, it's not like the greatest legacy, at least in my opinion. Like, there's some really good games, but like, there's only a few really good games, and most of the others are kind of mediocre. You know, mediocre to kind of bad to kind of, it really spans the range in terms of quality. Like, I kind of went over a bit how I feel about the different games in the series. So yeah, that's kind of one of the better stages, I think. It's got some verticality to it, some gimmicks with like the wind and stuff like that. Like, it's not super great. That's the thing, is like, okay, so I'm gonna show off. This is probably my least favorite boss in the game. Whoops. Shit. Or not my least favorite boss in the game, but my least favorite of like the initial 8. Because you can see the way this works. Like, he's up out of range for most of the fight, which means you can end up screwing things up, where if you weaken him without being able to like absorb him, like if I had missed that there, he would start to recover health. And if he like flies off and starts to recover health, then you're like really screwed. So actually the way I prefer to fight this guy actually is using his weakness. Also, it's really tough to avoid that. So yeah, you can see the way this works. His little, like his little thing that, I don't know what to call that, his little option there that flies across the screen actually works against him. If you use the sniper shot, you can, yeah, bounce that off him. And then, yeah, super easy. And yeah, you can kind of see how weapons work like this as well. Like, I don't know, like I said, this is kind of one of my least favorite bosses. So, I don't really feel too bad about using the special weapon against this guy. And, like, it's... Whoa. It's like, I don't know, this fight can get really annoying if you, like... You can get consistent at it. Like, it's not unfair or anything, but it's like I said about... What was I saying it about earlier? I forget what I was saying about earlier, but yeah, if you end up screwing things up, it can get really annoying and frustrating. Oh yeah, Counter Shade stage, where like if you miss your opportunity to hit him during the stage, it can get like just really tedious and frustrating, and that's kind of the way this boss can work your first time through. Did I get the A rank? I feel like it's going to be a B. Hey, we got the A! Nice. I wonder if there's like an achievement or anything for... like... oh, something unplugged. I think... was that my controller? I hope that was my controller. I'm going to assume it was my controller. You know, if it screwed up the recording, we can just play through this game again. This game is fun, and I don't mind playing through it multiple times. Oh yeah, this weapon that you get from this guy is actually super interesting. Or not, it's just really neat. A lot of the weapons in this game are like multifunctional. There's like several things you can do with them, and I really like that. Unfortunately, oh yeah, I didn't complain about like the worst thing about the weapon system. I guess we'll get to that a bit once we... Basically, I hate the way that, again, an interface thing, I really hate the way that you select weapons in this game. But yeah, you go to Aviator, basically you hold down the button and you get like a little whirling helicopter blade above your head, which you can use to like damage enemies with it just by jumping up into them, and it also increases your jump height and blocks projectiles, some projectiles as well, which is neat. And then if you release the button, you can throw it out, and then it like zigzags around and attacks things, and it's really cool. And Excel shoot effects, I don't even know what that means. Did they show me that for Counter Shade as well? I don't know what Excel shoot effects even means. Okay, but they'll probably explain it. I don't... Oh, Excel shoot. Okay, that's like the weapon, like the... Where is it? Yeah, these things. Yeah, so I think Excel shoot must like improve your weapon, like the abilities of your weapons as well, I'm assuming. I actually didn't know that. That's kind of neat. But anyways, what are we gonna do next? I guess we'll keep going down the weakness chain. Helicopter Man is Splosion Man, I think here, yeah. Like I said, I've turned off like the subtitles and the voice acting and skipped all the cutscenes and stuff, so I don't actually know what's going on with the story, and like I don't even know what like the Robot Masters' names are even most of the time. So half the time I just call them, you know, like I've been doing, Helicopter Man and Splosion Man. Splosion Man was actually a good game. I should go back to that one sometime. Or no, it was Ms. Splosion Man is the one that I have. That's actually, yeah, I'd actually classify Ms. Splosion Man as being like a 2D platformer. That's better. Oh, come on. Come on. Oh, I can't shoot when I'm... Oh, that sucks. How was I supposed to get through that then? Or I guess I could. I guess I didn't have to kill him. That was just me being kind of bloodthirsty. I could have just dropped down without shooting the guy, but I wanted to shoot the guy. Okay. I guess that's another thing I kind of intended to talk about is... Okay, so let's you know, give credit where credit is due to the critics of this game. Like, I've kind of gone over a lot of the stuff that's not great about it, and the other thing is that the game kind of suffers by comparison to a lot of other games, and also, like, the whole Kickstarter campaign, and just, like, the massive expectations leading up to its release didn't really do it any favors either. Like, I know there were, like, tons of, like, delays and stuff with this game. Like, it was in production for a long time. The Kickstarter for this was, like, years ago. This game was, like, what, 4 or 5 years in the making or something like that, I feel like. Maybe it was just 3, but I don't know. A long, long time for a game of this kind of style and scope. And in that time, a lot of stuff has happened. I'd say, like, the quality expectations for this style of kind of, you know, retro 2D platformer games has kind of risen since then. Like, since between the time of, like, the original Mighty No. 9 Kickstarter and the time that Mighty No. 9 was actually released, we have seen, like, what have we seen? We've seen Shovel Knight. We've seen stuff like, what's it? That Metroidvania, or yeah, speaking of other Metroidvanias, we've seen, oh, come on. Don't want to die here. Okay. Oh, hey, I got my sub-tank. Use them or lose them. Yeah, there's no reason not to just, like, use that right away if you're gonna die, because you lose it if you die, so... This is actually one of the tougher levels in the game, if I remember correctly. I think it took me... This is, like, one of the few that actually took me a few game overs to get through. My first time through, I fucked it up. No, I didn't. because we have the perfect weapon. Okay, what I want to do is I want to kill this. There we go. Oh, and I didn't even need the helicopter thing. I was going to use, like, the high jump to... Okay, yeah, the weapon selection is dumb. Basically, there's no, like, pause menu weapon selection in this game, and the best they have is this sort of quick menu, but it's, like, quick menu, quote, unquote, because, like, it's less efficient to use than the, like, weapon change in regular Mega Man games. Like, other Mega Man games, you just, like, hit L and R, and you just keep hitting it till you get to the weapon you want. It's just like one button, and you just hit it until you get the weapon you want. But here, you gotta hit a button to bring up the menu, you gotta keep hitting it until you get to the weapon you want, and then you gotta hit the button again to change to the weapon you want. So that they, like, just added 2 extra button presses completely unnecessarily, and, like, it's not a problem now, because I've only got, like, 2 weapons, but it gets really annoying once you've, like, cleared all the bosses, or if you're in New Game Plus and you've got to cycle between, like, 8 different weapons. Oh yeah, although with that said, another thing they kind of brought back in this game from, I'd say even, like, Mega Man X1. Yeah, it's the way that, like, it changes the stages a little bit based on what other stages you've completed. And yeah, I don't think any other Mega Man X game did that since, like, Mega Man X1. Like, you know, you would beat Chill Penguin, and then that would freeze over Flame Mammoth stage. You can actually just like, yeah, get, like, right through here, just dash through the whole thing if you're good, but I am very timid. I'm gonna see if I can beat this guy without his weakness. This is probably one of the, yeah, more uninspired bosses in the game. I don't like this one very much. It's basically Simon Says. So yeah, he's raising his fists in the air, so he's gonna go up. So you gotta dash under him. I think the voice clips, so he's putting his fist down, so you gotta dash over him. And that's it. It's just Simon Says. He's raising his fist up. But it didn't matter, because I can just get him. Okay, raising the fists up, so we go under him. And that's all it is to it. It's difficult if you don't know the tells, but once you know the tells, like, it's literally Simon Says. Oh, he's going straight at me, so I want to go backwards. I think probably the voice clips give you a clue as well, and it would probably be clearer in English, or if I had, like, the volume turned up or something. But, and yeah, here he does, like, something again once he gets to half health. I don't even know what that does, or if it does anything at all, even. Oh. So yeah, basically if you want to look at sort of what he does with his hands before he runs at you. If you don't realize that, like, that's the tell, it can be really frustrating to fight this guy. But yeah, once you realize, like, what the tells are, there's just nothing to this fight. It's, yeah, like I said, really kind of dull and uninspired. So yeah, that's that guy. Decent stage, though. Yeah, like I said, I really like... Or I don't know. Like, the way the stages change based on what other stages you've cleared, it's not really that much. Not as dramatic as the changes in, like, the original Mega Man X, where it's like, you know, like, you turn off the power in Spark Mandrill's stage or all that other stuff that I got an A. Oh, we got a B. Why did we get a B? Did I die at some point in there? I don't know. I don't know how the scoring works in this game, to be honest. But yeah, so yeah, instead of any dramatic changes like that, basically it just kind of makes the stages easier if you've beaten the robot that, like, has the weakness for that stage. Like, in that stage, yeah, the helicopter man went through and busted up some of the towers for me so that they fell backwards instead of forwards. So it's like, you know, some of the other robot masters will come and help you out in the different stages if you clear them in the right order. But still, that's really neat, and, like, it's, yeah... I'm just really impressed that, like, it took them that long to get back to that kind of neat mechanic where the stages change a little bit based on which ones you've cleared before. Like, they literally haven't done it, I don't think, since the original Mega Man X, and, you know, it's not really done as well here as it was there, but, you know, it's neat, you know, it's some kind of, like, sort of creativity there, which this game is kind of has in short supply. But that's, yeah. Like, as solid as the stages are, a lot of them are kind of uninspired. Like, there's nothing really super interesting going on with most, other than Counter Shade's stage, which sucks and was not executed very well. The others, and actually that's kind of the way it goes. All of the interesting stages with, like, some kind of neat gimmick that's, like, you know, distinguishes it from the others, those are like the worst stages. Like the highway here, you're like hopping across cars, and it's like kind of neat and memorable, but it's also really fucking annoying because of the way the cars move around. And this stage has got like a ton of like gimmicky stuff going on. There's almost like a puzzle segment as well too, but it's all really poorly executed, and it's also one of the worst stages in the game. And all the other stages are just kind of like, yeah, like standard generic 2D platformer levels, but they're all like really solid and pretty fun. Anyways, we did Splosion Man, so we're good. I think it's Cryo Man here. Oh yeah, we can just go to advice here. Yeah, Splosion Man is gonna help us out with this one.